Okay, let's talk about it. We're going to get into something that can be, well, a little uncomfortable, right? It's that thing we all feel but almost never say out loud, how our friendships and our money get tangled up. It's super sensitive for sure, but it's something that affects pretty much all of us.
So, let me just ask you straight up. Do you ever feel like you're paying a friendship tax? You know, that kind of invisible fee that comes with just trying to have a social life? It's that feeling in your gut when saying yes to your friends means saying no to your budget. I mean, we've all been there, haven't we? Your friend says, hey, let's grab a quick drink, and before you know it, you're staring at a $100 bar tab. Or you get that gorgeous invitation for a destination wedding, and your first thought isn't, congratulations, it's, oh no, how can I possibly afford this? This is not just you imagining things, this pressure is absolutely real. So where does that pressure even come from? Well, it turns out there's some pretty powerful psychology going on behind the scenes that makes it incredibly tough to match up our social lives with our, financial realities.
This feeling actually has a name. It's called social spending pressure. It's that powerful, usually unspoken obligation you feel to spend money just to belong, right? To keep those relationships going, and honestly, to just fit in with what everyone else is doing.
So why is it so hard to just say no? Well, there are a few big reasons. First up, the big one, FOMO, the fear of missing out. You see the pictures, you hear the stories, you don't want to be left behind. Then there's that classic desire to keep up, trying not to be the person who can't hang. And of course, there's the simple fact that we'll do almost anything to avoid having that awkward, cringy conversation about money.
And all of this creates this massive gap between what we want our friendships to be and what they sometimes feel like. You go in expecting spontaneous fun and real connection, but the reality is often budget anxiety and spending money you didn't want to. Over time, what should be about making amazing memories can start to feel like a financial burden, and that can build up some serious resentment, which is just toxic for any relationship.
But look, this pressure is way more than just an emotional thing. When you actually start to look at the hard data, the financial hit is often so much bigger than any of us even realize.
Yeah, this isn't just in your head, it's in your bank account. We're talking about a quiet but really significant drain on your financial health. $7,500. Let that sink in for a second. According to financial analysis, that is the potential annual cost of just keeping up with social spending pressure. Seriously, take a moment and think about what else you could do with that kind of money. It's just staggering.
And a huge reason that number gets so crazy high is that we are terrible at estimating what we actually spend. We might think, oh, I'll budget $50 for dinner. But we totally forget about the Ubers there and back, the cover charges, the birthday gifts, the weekend trips. It all adds up. When you actually track it, the reality is often double, sometimes even triple what you thought it was.
Okay, so we've laid out the problem and we've seen how much it can actually cost. So what do we do about it? How do we fix it? Well, the good news is there are some really simple, really effective ways to get back in control of your money without blowing up your friendships.
It really comes down to this simple three-step plan. First, you start by affirming the friendship. You make it super clear, this is about your budget, not about them. Step 2, you just state your limit, clearly and kindly. And then, this is the crucial part. You immediately suggest an alternative. That shows them you still really want to see them.
And here's what that actually sounds like. It's not a big, dramatic confrontation. It's simple, it's honest, and it keeps things positive. I'd love to see you. That's your affirmation. That's a bit out of my budget right now. That's your clear limit. And could we do a park hang instead? That's the perfect low-cost alternative. Easy.
And let's be really clear here. The point of all this isn't to become a hermit and never leave your house again. Not at all. Setting these financial boundaries is about changing the dynamic so that you can hang out with your friends in a way that feels good and sustainable for you, on your own terms. Now, when you start to actually do this, something pretty amazing happens. Yeah, it helps your bank account, obviously, but it can also make your friendships even deeper. Let's look at how. Because think about it, real friendship isn't built on fancy dinners or expensive trips. It's built on trust and just being real with each other. When you can be honest about something as personal as your budget, you're actually opening the door to a much deeper, more authentic connection. And honestly, you might find your friends are secretly relieved you brought it up first. So what are the big things to walk away with here? First, just acknowledge that this pressure is real. You're not making it up. Next, actually track your spending so you know the real numbers. Learn how to communicate your boundaries honestly but kindly. Start to redefine what quality time really means. And above all else, always prioritize your own financial health. So I'll just leave you with this question to think about. Imagine what your life could feel like with less stress about money, with more cash in your pocket, and with friendships that are actually stronger because they're built on honesty. What could you do with all that freedom?